Felix and Winston here, and the Fed is determined to do the reset that many people have been warning about. What does it all mean, and why is it kicking off in the next couple of days? Well, first of all, Chair Powell is in Europe. He's speaking at the ECB, European Central Bank Conference, tomorrow, and then again the next day in Spain. And why is that a good venue for him to really confirm and unveil his plans to break the back of small US businesses, small US banks, and quite frankly, small investors? Because European, and Winston had to lie down on that one, a bit too serious for him. European Central Bank is far behind the rate hiking cycle compared to the US. Inflation is much higher, much more ingrained. It's a much bigger problem. They're going to have to keep raising rates. So by coming here to Europe, Jay Powell is able to say, yes, we are going to have to do more, but like everybody else too. And the market is swallowing his prediction of the further rate hike. And I was like, no, it's not going to happen because it doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. It doesn't make any sense. It's illogical unless you intend to go through with the consequences. And what are the consequences? Well, the consequences are pretty significant. We've seen $300 billion leave reverse repo facilities in the last couple of weeks. There is Winston. And that's serious. Why is that happening? Because the US government is issuing more debt than ever. Interest rates are going higher. And if they go further higher, which is now what the Fed seems to be very determined on, and Morgan Stanley warning this morning again, that they also now believe rates are actually going to go higher, well, small and regional banks are going to have another problem. Commercial real estate is going to have more problems because the mortgages for those commercial real estates have gone higher. Vacancies are still there. Who refinances those commercial real estate buildings? Small and regional banks. So you're just kicking small and regional banks until you're breaking more of them. And what does that mean? Less small banks, more big banks. Exactly like we've seen. And what does it mean for businesses? Well, it squeezes businesses. It squeezes the consumer. So you get less small businesses and you get just the big businesses left over. And it's very much the same thing we're seeing all around. And you might think, well, that's a conspiracy theory and all of that. But I think it's just the reality. Inequality is getting worse and worse and worse. And to some extent, it makes sense just because those who know how to perform will always outperform. Whereas those who don't. And, there are many people who just complain and moan and whinge about it. And we're not one of those communities, are we, Winston? Because we actually look at how can we make money in these situations, and you always can. I still think the bond trade is a valid trade. If I don't know what that is, then put a comment down below. I'll explain it to you very gladly again. And we're doing our bit to help people get out of this mess. And one of the things we've done is we literally put our core program on sale for 99% off. So you should get it for 1%. It's $15. It's incredible value. And then the whole point there is, again, just to help more people get to financial freedom, get to understand how the market works. How can we make money within a system as unfair as this? Well, two ways. You can try and change the system, but you need $3 billion that you're going to have to donate to US politicians for that, just to match what hedge funds hand over to US politicians. $3 billion. Now, Winston and I don't want to hand $3 billion over to politicians. Winston would rather have a snack. And therefore, I just think you have to work with this defective, unfair system that we have and learn how it works and learn how you can make money regardless. And that's what we've been doing as we continue to do. And I think it's an amazing moment to actually pick up some really good stocks because not everything is super overpriced. Just certain things are. And, people asked me this morning, should I buy XYZ AI stock? I'm like, well, it's up 80% this year, 200% this year. Is that the time you want to FOMO buy it? No, please don't. If you want to buy those stocks, do it gradually over time. And in the meantime, look for higher value. But for that, you need to understand what it actually means for a company to be a good company, not just whatever happens to be in the news, right? So that's really what I want to encourage here with our community. And I truly appreciate the 49,000 or so of you who've smashed that subscribe button so far. It makes a tremendous difference because the bigger the community gets, the more people are likely to tune in, the more people are likely to actually learn something that isn't just hype and the latest thing people want to click on, but actually the more in-depth stuff. And that's why we do seminars and webinars, and we've got programs. So as I said, we make so much of the stuff available for free or for 99% off. FelixFriends.org/stocks, you can get your hands on that there. And yeah, I just want to say, like, I think it's going to get a lot tougher. I think the world's going to get a lot more unfair. And I'm starting to see that more and more. Like, I travel a lot and I just see you go from the airport to the center of town and you drive through an hour of poverty, struggle, misery. And then you get to the wealthy bit, like this kind of stuff here. And that's the same thing everywhere. And it's just because the 90% and soon the 99% will struggle. Inflation has kneecapped ordinary people. It has made it less affordable for ordinary people just to survive. Whereas those with lots of money and big businesses, they don't care. Pepsi raised their prices 17% or something like that. Margins have gone through the roof with the excuse of inflation. But it isn't a fair world, so maybe you should own some Pepsi stock, right? I do. I'm not saying you should buy it. It's not financial advice, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you can either be on the side of the loser and just receive lots and lots of unfairness and unjustness because there is somebody who's paying politicians and decision makers indirectly or lobbying them or influencing them or paying for the research to make the system work more in favor of those who are at the top. So you got to learn how those guys got there. You got to learn and emulate their trades and their investments, and you can. It's actually, that part's easier than ever. So that's it from Winston and me. I would love it if you subscribe to the channel, and we'll keep covering this. We'll keep covering how you can make it. And I wish you all the best.